we're losing trust for our own bodies, and we're losing trust for like the beautiful natural miracles that happen every single day. And so it really is like these little ways that it's like, forget about how miraculous God is, right?
Yep.
And so that shift is huge for women too, of like, you can do it.
All right, chiropractors and chiropractic students, welcome to the Family Practice Podcast. You know, the one you've been waiting way too long for, because this podcast will actually stay focused on chiropractic. Not only what it takes to get world-class clinical results for kids and families in your community, but also what it takes to build a legendary, incredible family practice that takes care of your family way beyond your dreams. I'm Dr. Tony Ebel, and I'll be joined by Dr. Matt Hill, Dr. Allie Wright, Jackie Jacobowitz, and incredible guests, chiros, associates, CAs, all these folks making massive impact around the world. We're going to cover everything: pediatric, perinatal, family practice. This is the podcast you've been waiting for, because moms and dads and families have always needed us. Now they're finally ready for us. I hope you're ready for the Family Practice Podcast. Let's go.
I want to be real today because there are so many times where us chiropractors are always talking like, oh my goodness, it would be awesome to bring people in for fertility and see both husband and wife and really help them have babies, and then see that baby grow up and see the mom through pregnancy and that whole entire perinatal experience, adjust at birth, maybe, you know, go to their home for the home birth, and then have an amazing postpartum experience, see the whole family. That's the dream. Yeah. Right?
Oh, totally.
But I want to get real today of like, there's a lot with that.
Yeah. Especially now. Like
I know.
Talking about before is like, it used to be, I don't want to say it used to be easy, but obviously like back in the day, like there weren't so many layers of subluxation in people's nervous systems. And so now it's like 10x, like we have to like level up to address it. Yeah. And we have to like level up in our communication, how we're marketing it, all of the things. And then not just that, but like clinically too, because it is so challenging to get through those layers. But like we talked about too, is like, we want to focus a little bit on the challenge today, but we also want to talk about like, okay, how are we going to solve this?
Yes.
And how are we going to get people in our offices, like when they're teenage women?
I know.
And like
have to start with
young guys. Yeah. Like long before we're married and long before like it's time to start trying. Yes. My favorite. Did you start
Are we going to start trying?
Like that's what we're waiting for. And it's like, but like we've lost that like essence of like, I mean, you and Jonah talk about it, like preparing for pregnancy.
Yeah.
It's got to be way longer.
Yes.
And people are literally coming in, and I love these couples to death, but they're coming in and they're like, our main goal is fertility and obviously getting pregnant. And we're looking at it like, oh my gosh, like there is so much work that we got to do. And it's, I mean, yes, let's do it. Like I totally believe that like God can, you know, create a miracle for this couple, but we've got a lot of work to do. And sometimes it's like showing them, okay, here's the big lofty goal, and we've got some steps to take to get there. So we've got to stop focusing on just like, okay, I always say this with my couples, like, yes, we want to be a millionaire. Yeah. And like, that's awesome.
How are we going to build our wealth?
That's awesome. How are we going to start building our wealth now?
Yes.
And like, let's focus there. And I know it's hard because a lot of them come into it just like so much emotional stress on it. Maybe they've been trying for a year to 2 to 3 years to 5 years. I've had couples and it's so stressful. And they were like even told you're too old, and what are the other things that they're telling them, right? Like they're telling them all these things that then are just like lies that they're believing. Yes. And it's
you're too old, you're too busy, where's your kid gonna fit? Yeah. What are you gonna, you know,
your pelvis is too big.
They're gone, your pelvis is too big or too small.
Not too big. Your pelvis is too big.
If you're having triplets and you just maybe you should
too big, the baby might fall out.
Oh my gosh, but they're telling them so many different lies, and they're just becoming buried in all of those lies. Or it's like, oh, you have to try for a year until we can go to IUI and IVF and all of these things, instead of someone looking at the entire picture and really helping them
and giving them hope.
And giving them hope.
Like we ultimately know, and in our profession too, it's like that is like God's thing to do, right? So like he will make the miracle happen, but we also have to take the steps to like allow for it.
Yes.
And so often like our culture in all areas of health is like, oh, you know, like we're robbed of like the choice. So it's just like, oh, you're fertile or you're not, right? Instead of like, here's like maybe together, me and my spouse, like maybe we're gonna like work on health together. And we want to create like a culture in our home that is like welcoming to a child.
Exactly.
Right? Is our marriage in a good place?
Yeah.
Is our like do our jobs allow?
Yeah, like are we too busy? Where's the kid gonna fit in? And those are something that that couples need to think about.
Yeah.
But also, you're right, delivering that hope and saying, maybe not yet, but you will have a baby.
Yeah.
But how are we going to uncover all of these layers to getting there? I love your analogy of, we all want to be billionaires, but how are we going to get there?
Sort of.
Millie.
I mean, maybe like, I sometimes don't like it because I'm like, maybe we don't all just want a bunch of money. But like,
they're like, wait, no, I don't want to be.
But like sometimes when people are writing out goals, and I know we're in such a good camp of people, so like we've known to do this, but like you have to like make actionable steps that are like reachable.
Yeah.
And it's not that fertility is unreachable, but right now there's just like we talked about so many layers and so much dysfunction and so many lies and so many like we're just so sick. So like we're just going to go the IVF route. And then we know what that does in so many different ways and no one is talking about.
Right.
That it just is like so damaging to the couple and themselves. And like I think it really is like after early like femalehood, like the first thing they're doing is putting young women on birth control and saying, let's control all of this.
Which is completely stopped. I don't know. A lot of chiropractors that I've talked to don't even know that like the bleed isn't even a real bleed.
No.
Like your hormones are just completely on pause.
Totally.
And that is just destroying the female body.
Yeah. You can't deny
crazy.
that. Like, you cannot deny that. It's not just like, oh, we put it in there and then we take it out and everything's better. It's like you literally.
And then you can have a baby the month that you want to take it out.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're literally shutting down the brain and totally affecting the nervous system in that way. But it literally is like what it's doing to our culture of women in general is like controlling and managing something that is like beautiful and natural and so essential to learn. So like we have so many things in our culture that we have to shift. And I think it's not just like, okay, what adjustments do we need to make to it is and it isn't? What adjustments do we need to make to like help these couples get pregnant?
Right.
But it's like, how do we shift like our culture's understanding back to like physiological, like the beauty of this whole process? And then it really is too, like we see all ends of it, like perfect storm, all those different things down the line. But we really have to go back to like, okay, where does this really start?
Yeah. And I love how you say that because it's like, yes, right now with the perinatal experience, we're taking it back to that perinatal preconception time, but how far back does that go? Like we should be, you're teaching in the high schools and in the middle schools, and that's where we should be, right? We should be starting with these young women and young teens and young guys and just really changing the culture, which is the big picture of it, but changing our communities as a whole throughout this.
Totally. I think, again, if we're just focusing on women and not focusing on men, like that is so...
They're 60%, some say, 60% of the babies male. So
we're only 40.
We're only 40, but we have to grow the argument, whatever.
But that's it. Yeah, there's a bigger picture, and I don't think it is like one, simple solution. I think there's a lot of parts that we've got to shift, and we got to get so much louder, but not in a way that's like, again, adding to like the fear. That's the challenge too, because it's like I don't want to like tear that woman apart when she comes in, or that couple when they come in and be like, oh, we got a lot of work to do. And looking at those scans and just seeing truly how subluxated that person is and just looking at their story too. But you have to be real with them too.
Yes.
You have to be real with them. And so I do think analogies are really good of like, okay, we've got, like we said, like you have this goal and this is awesome and let's go there. And I totally believe that God can create that miracle for you. Yeah. That can happen, but we've got to do some stuff first. Yeah. We got to start taking steps towards that and really like getting your nervous system to a place where it's healthy so it can do that.
For sure.
So hormones can be healthy. We like that hormone hierarchy, right?
We love the hierarchy.
Yes.
I want to go towards the chiropractor who, because a lot of the times in this perinatal field of chiropractic, we're focusing on too many things. Yes. Let's bring in the hierarchy of healing right now of like, we're saying to our patients, don't touch receipts. Yeah. Don't, there's, which is that fear component. Yeah. And yes, sure, important. Yes. Like you could maybe de-stress a little bit. You could take out the receipts. Yeah. You could eat healthier, exercise, do all of those things. But as chiropractors, we are the best at nervous system focused. Yeah. And that's really, we're the ones who should be owning this fertility, starting with the HPA, the HPG axis of like what controls hormones, the nervous system does. Right. So we do have to be first. That being said, we can't obviously like get to the baby, like what you're saying of like, okay, now you can have a baby in a month because your nervous system is regulated. Then there may be some layers that we have to add on. That being said, nervous system has to be first. And I just want to yell that at so many chiropractors to bring them into this movement of we do need to take over the perinatal space. We do need to take over fertility. We're the best who does it at that base. When you're building a house, that foundation, we are the foundation of fertility.
Yeah.
But there are other things that do need to be involved with that as well.
Totally. And it's like we talk about all the time. It's sequence. It's sequence. And that's what's hard to hear sometimes is like we can't rush this.
Right.
It could happen tomorrow.
It could.
Like everyone wants.
Won't he do it? Like if God does it,
man. Like, and he totally can, and he has for so many of us, like who have seen fertility cases. Like he totally has, and you're like, I don't know how that happened, but it happened, and it's great. Like we're so happy. But also, like then we know we got some more work to do after that. But it is a process and it's sequence, and like you said, it like I think one of the most challenging parts of truly being a chiropractor. Well, there's a lot of challenging parts, and they're great. It's good to be challenged. But like you have to figure out when it's subluxation and when you got to stay in subluxation and when it is actually the right time to kind of like co-manage.
Yes.
Because
call on your community connections, call on those people.
Well, and like if someone comes in, and I always joke with this with couples too, because they'll be like, okay, I've got the plan. I've got this 72 visits. Great. But like, what should I do at home? And like, that's, you know, a common question that you get. And you're like, okay, like most of these couples, I would say probably 85% have read every freaking book. They've gone to every provider. They've done all of the testing, most often even good testing. Yeah. That is like good hormonal testing. And they've come up short. And so it's like, here's the missing link. We got to go back to the foundations. Yep. So chill out. Sometimes I'm literally like, put all of those books and
don't even think about it. Yeah.
Put them into a box. Go for a walk, start having fun again, go on vacation if you can. Yeah. Like, just get back to like having fun rather than like stressing about the 50 foods that someone told you one time that you couldn't eat because they will break you.
Exactly.
Those are so damaging. And again, there's a time and a place for that stuff, but we have to, like you said, go back to the autonomic and central nervous system because it's become really the major issue for everybody is like the nervous system is so stressed. Like you said, it's the boss for the hormones. It's the boss for the neurotransmitters. It's the boss for everything. Yeah. It's the boss for the reproductive organs. So like we need to go back to that, kind of slow down to speed up. Yeah, for the whole thing.
For sure.
So we even need to remind ourselves as the providers, like this is going to take time, but also leaving room for, again, a miracle to happen.
What if a baby?
Yeah, exactly. So sometimes they want that timeline, and it's like, look, even if I'm giving, you know, the 72 visit timeline, like that doesn't mean baby doesn't happen before that. That doesn't mean baby, you know, happens right at 72 visits. It doesn't mean that baby isn't going to be 2 years from now. But this whole like design of the work that we do is to address the nervous system, and it's like a bigger picture for them that we have to get really good at delivering so we can get their minds off of I want to be a millionaire and back to like I want to create a healthy life for my family, and I'm open to what the Lord's going to do in that, right? Which I love that. Like a healthier relationship too.
Oh, it does. It'll completely strengthen your marriage. It'll completely strengthen like your friendships, your, you know, all of those things. It's just so important.
Yeah. And I've not been in that like category of women where like I've been struggling with fertility. And so it's like also so good to be able to like hear those stories of, and just even the women that I'm seeing, like it's everything they talk about with their friends. Yeah. It's in every conversation. It's in every prayer. It's in every like every book that they have on their shelf. And so it's just so emotionally overwhelming.
For sure.
And so we have to take that into account and not just be like, forget about this. Yeah. Because even when I think I'm like, it's easier said than done.
Yeah. You're like, stop. People always say like, well, just stop stressing about it and then you'll have a baby. It's like, I never say that.
No. Like you have to understand and like be with them in that of like, oh my gosh, that is really stressful. But sometimes it is just like, you know what, Emily, like put down those books for a few weeks and let's focus here. And this is what builds to that. Yeah. And so let's just kind of shift perspective and like focus a little bit, not forget about that, but also like where can you just shift your nervous system back into like flow and into that peace mode. And then really like, again, I think it's like little ways that like the devil is like distorting our view as women too, of like we're losing trust for our own bodies. And we're losing trust for like the beautiful natural miracles that happen every single day. Right. And so it really is like these little ways that it's like, forget about how miraculous God is. Right. Yep. And so that shift is huge for women too, of like, you can do it. And and we're the last, I truly believe we're like the last provider that's like really saying it. Yes. Like even the like nutritionist, or I love the functional docs that we work with. You guys have so amazing teams too. But even some of them are like, you see them losing hope. And other chiropractors that these women or couples have been to also are losing hope and will be like, kind of give up on them. And that breaks my heart, because it really is like, no, chiropractic works.
Yeah.
And it working doesn't mean that they're pregnant.
Right.
What it means is that it creates the possibility of that happening.
Yes.
Right?
I love
this version of you. And there still may be some different things going on. Like you talked about, there's pelvic floor considerations. There's what else? Like the uterus positioning.
Yeah. Like anatomically, I have a friend who only has one fallopian tube and she's struggled with fertility. There's shape of uterus. There's how's the sperm. There's so many different things that go into this. But I love how you said that, is that our job as a chiropractor for anyone, not just fertility, is that they're becoming their healthiest self. And that's how I always explain preconception, is it's like husband and wife, you're just becoming the healthiest you can be together. And then that opens the possibility, like you said, for a baby. And you're just open, hands open, just like whatever the Lord wants to do through you guys. Ready to receive it. And I absolutely love, I say absolutely love a lot. That's mine. Yours is totally. Yeah.
Totally.
But I really, really like having our patients who struggle with fertility. I'm like, can you write down 5 things that you love to do? Just tell me. Just share them with me. And we'll just circle, okay, let's try to do this one this week. Let's try, okay, what's next week? Let's try to do this one. And just really not necessarily saying, don't focus on fertility, but like you said, giving them something else to focus on in those steps to becoming the millionaire. Like if we just keep, I love this analogy.
Babies.
The million babies. The steps for a million babies. I love thinking about the soft signs that they're getting to. How's their sleep? How's their digestion? How are they eating? Are they seeing new colors? Are they noticing that the trees are blowing in the wind? Like all of those.
Taking naps.
Have you taken a nap?
Eating cheese in a pasture with their girlfriends. And read some magazines. Like, we joke about it, but like really, that's what we need. We need to chill and like call our friends and go, meet up at the cafe and just have an hour or two of like just laughing.
For sure.
Not stressing.
Laugh. Have you laughed?
Not stressing and talking about the negative, but talking about like how life is so beautiful and really like feeling that. It doesn't mean that we can't feel the like stress and all that stuff. Like, it's important to like feel grief and to feel pain and all those things, but like we also have to help these women in all those different, facets of it.
For sure. And even giving them, even still focusing on baby, but saying, what's your life going to look like with a baby? What are you bringing into the conversations with your friend?
We do that with Perfect Storm. That's such a good point of like, let's start kind of creating this vision of like, this is what life can look like. And I love the Birth and Beyond, thing that you created, the Birth and Beyond, what do you call it? Slideshow? Yes, what slideshow?
I was like, what did I?
Yes, what is it? But you have a section on there where like, again, it's like, here's the dysregulated nervous system in a pregnant woman, in a woman like preconception. And I added the male stuff. So I think we're working on that too. Like, what does that look like in a male? And then also like, okay, let's stop there and let's move into now what are the
positive
what does good look like, or what can life look like? And even just looking at that when I was talking to the students the other day, I was like, who would not choose that?
Oh, I know.
Who would not choose that?
Who would not choose better sleep, better digestion?
What?
Better
like even if it meant like that's where you're at and now we can try to conceive.
Yeah, your like, quality of life just went up. Like, you're just having a better life.
And with both of you felt like
yes.
And then you have a child. And that child feels like that.
Yes.
And then, like, you actually get to create the dream that, like, you have internally, but you haven't made moves towards.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's a little bit of tough love, too.
Of
like, you're working, to be honest, I get a lot of these. This is what I was telling Jonah, is, like, overnight shifts, night shift nurses. Night shift, whatever, but a lot of night shift nurses, and then their spouse is like working opposite shifts.
Yeah. So when are you even connecting?
They never see each other.
Yeah.
And to be honest, they know, like, you can tell they know that this is a problem, but it's like, what are you going to do when that kid's here?
Oh, I know.
What do you, like, we don't even have that, like, we haven't made room for it.
Yes. We're focusing so much on the conception.
Yeah.
that we've never even looked at. What does my life look like with a baby?
Totally.
What do my friendships look like? What are the play dates going to look like? And all of those things can be looked at in not a stressful way of like, where's my child going to go to school? That can be fun. Like to think about instead of like, oh my gosh, where's my child going to go to school? Am I going to homeschool? Am I going to do this?
And that's what America does to us.
Yes.
Is they make it like this like battle instead of this like beautiful journey of like parenthood and like pregnancy even.
Yeah.
What is like they say about pregnancy, it's supposed to be the most like vibrant season of your life. You're supposed to be like glowing.
Yes. And you're most like hormonally, your hormones are the highest, your hair looks I couldn't imagine like my hair was I was like, I'll be pregnant forever just for my hair. Like just so many different things just look amazing. Yeah, you're just you're fertile. You're just like, it's a good time.
Yeah, it's overall a good time.
But what does America do? It's like, oh my gosh, my back pain. Oh my goodness, I
don't know if you guys have had this too. We've had OBs who are working with some of our patients be like, we haven't seen a woman not have symptoms. And you're sitting there like, what?
You're like, do I need to make up symptoms right now?
Well, it's like you haven't seen a healthy pregnant woman in a long time then. And there's a lot of them where we come from.
Prescribing Zofran, prescribing all of...
They're almost like, bored with this patient. Like, what do I do with you?
You
like,
get a midwife from...
Yeah, honestly. Well, you wish that they would say that. But it is just like, that's actually normal. And so even our providers who we think in our culture should know everything. And we know there's great OBs out there. There's great midwives. There's great chiropractors. We are some of them. But like, they're so far from what is natural.
Yes.
They're so far from that.
They've forgotten it. They're disconnected. They don't even realize. And what they're teaching at their schools and things are so disconnected that they don't even know. It's like you want to blame them and then you're like,
but they're not
sorry.
Yeah. Like you wish that they were taught this stuff because like we're like out of our seats. Like we're like, wait, put a seatbelt on. It's like so exciting for us. But then it also is, again, like we talked about going in and talking about like the challenges of this, but it really is like we know the potential of these people and we know what their lives could look like. So it's almost really, really freaking hard. And this is where like I get teary-eyed about it. It's really, really hard when they don't choose to either start or they go through the care plan waiting for you to fix them.
Yes.
And they're unwilling to hear anything beyond. And so then it becomes, what are your like success rates? We had someone ask that more recently. And my chiro team and I just sat down in the back room like, whew, we got work to do.
Yeah.
Like it was kind of just like, whew. Like,
I've had a mom ask me that too. Yeah. It's hard. It's like, or it was actually a dad and he's like, so have you ever seen this not work before? And I was like, no. Define like not work, because it's like we know chiropractic, like Jackie and I were talking about yesterday, chiropractic works whether you believe it or not. I don't need your belief for it to work. But like if you want to truly heal, you have to participate as well.
Yeah, we're not here to like give you something. And again, we know it's not outside in. That's the difference of chiropractic. That's why we don't call it a treatment.
Exactly.
Like I literally will just make posts
about
that the rest of my life.
Treatment.
I said treatment. Like it's not a treatment, right? So we're not like a treatment is something that's outside in. We're addressing the nervous system, which is the central function and coordination of all the organs, tissues, cells, right? And so through that, it is an inside out approach, creating the most optimal conditions for life to be life,
function.
Like to life to happen as
function
optimally.
And thrive too. Like you gotta So it isn't, again, like even our marketing has to like, yes, we can market to couples, seeking fertility, but I think like we have to tweak that even a little bit more to say like, I don't know what we need to say, but we need to say like, to be your healthiest self.
Yeah.
And that's where we do have a disconnect.
Yeah.
Even in our profession of like, yes, come for fertility, period.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, well, once that, like, sure, use it as a hook.
Yeah.
But once that patient comes into your office, you have to fully educate on what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard work.
Yeah.
And it's not promised a baby.
Totally. I do think even like where I'm at in my career, it's not like so much reputation. It's more of like the reputation of chiropractic than like my own reputation. But it's that we have to communicate up front, like you're talking about, like this is not a treatment. This is an optimization, and chiropractic freaking works. And like I said, paint that picture of like what life can look like. And like you can choose this or you can choose to go that other route.
Yeah.
But you're still going to be coming to see me down the line with the child that's struggling. So again, that's not like, and you don't have to like, that's not fear mongering.
Right.
That's the hard part. Sometimes you're like, I don't want to be like, but we know what happens with IVF babies.
Yep.
We know what happens with those moms. Those moms are sick. And it like, usually dads are too.
Yeah.
And so it becomes like, those are the babies that come in like severe perfect storm. And it may not have been a traumatic birth, but those babies are literally so emotionally stressed and so traumatized. And again, like I have so much like gratitude still for like the babies that like come from that, obviously.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I've had so many people, as soon as I started posting about IVF, like reach out and be like, we don't know how to talk about this with our friends because it's such a touchy subject.
It's
and
so
like,
touchy.
It is. And it doesn't mean that we're like not grateful for OBs or we're not grateful for medicine. We're not grateful for like babies that have come from that. But it's like, if no one told you that truth, like what if you did hear that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's also like the fear of like us speaking up and sharing the truth. We may not be liked for it.
Yep.
But like we're sharing the truth and we're giving somebody the opportunity to choose that.
Yeah. And I think that's why we're on earth. Like if you're a believer, I know you are, but if you're listening to this and you're a believer, it's just like we really are in the business of breaking generational curses. And if we don't have that truth in us, in that boldness and the whole listening to the Holy Spirit of like, hey, I think you should say this to this parent, obviously out of love every single time.
Yeah.
But truly telling them, here's what we see in IVF babies. Here's what we see down the road. Here's why you need to be in my office now instead of bringing your 15-year-old who is depressed and anxious and on so many meds. Let's catch it now. Because I know, like you said, I know you're going to see me at some point in your lifetime. You'll be back. Let's start now, sister. Like, and it's also when you just going back to the point where you're like, I literally get teary eyed at this at like when you basically can't sign up for them and they have to choose it. It's the same with the gospel. It's like we're here to, we share the truth. We share who Jesus is, but we can't decide for them. And that is
the greatest. It's the greatest ache that like we'll ever have as chiropractors.
It's the greatest ache. Yeah. But it's also the greatest.
Yeah.
I don't know the word, but it's like, I'm a positive girl. Look at we but it's also the greatest lack of responsibility in the fact of like, I'm going to do everything I can, but then it's out of my hands.
Well, it's free. Like it's honoring free will. And free will, right? Is honoring free will of people. And like, it's the same thing. Like I love chiropractic and like faith because it's like, God is not this like, you must believe in me or else. Like, it's like you have this free choice to like be in this relationship with me. And it's the same thing as like us as providers is like they have this free choice to like be on, free. Choice to be on this journey with us, but they can choose to do.
You're going to pay me something, but
not free.
You have a free choice.
Next issue is it's not free. We'll talk about financials here in a second. It's not free. But that said, like it is, that's the beauty of it. Like you said, is like they can choose. And in that choice, it's like so freaking empowering. Like we're not forcing something on them just like other people are because every other market for fertility is telling them they're broken and that we have to
fix them. They have to fix them.
Yes.
Exactly. They can't fix themselves. There's nothing they can do. They are infertile, which I hate that word.
Let's get rid of it.
Don't ever say it.
Let's get it out of the dictionary.
Yeah. You just...
Yes, absolutely. And kind of like just get back on that path of, again, restoring their hope. But like you said, there's a way to tell the truth. And you said something that it was like the way that you share it.
Yeah.
The way that it's just like the way that you share the gospel matters. The way that you like, if you're standing on the corner being like, you all shall die, like that's not right.
True.
That's fear. That's leading with fear. A tone of love is very different. A tone of love is like, sometimes I struggle with it, honestly, when I am.
Oh, it's the hardest thing.
Like report of findings, I'm like, ooh, like, do I say that? Do I not? And like you said, like you need to be very present with yourself of like, what tone is this coming from? And how am I delivering this to that couple? Because I want to empower them. And usually there are a lot of tears in those reports of like, wow, I finally feel like empowered in this. But I noticed through the entire care plan, it's the same conversations over and over and over again. We have to keep coming back to that. No, you're not pregnant yet. That's okay. That's okay. Like we're still working. We're still working. We're still growing. You're a different person than you were 2 months ago. That's amazing. Look, you can take naps now. You used to be so addicted to stress.
Exactly.
This is great.
Look at this. Yeah, you do have to point out a lot of those soft signs. And as chiropractors, sometimes we feel like we are so repetitive.
Yes.
You have to be because they're not listening the first 100 times.
And over again about the simplest thing. Nervous system is boss. Nervous system has 2 parts to it. We need both of them. Literally, like it's just the same stuff. And you do have to like, it's like Rory Vaden. He's like, to cross this threshold, boom, boom, boom. You just got to hit the same spot. Yep. And after that, you'll break through. Once you break through, you can like trinkle in. Like,
and what's
other
crazy
parts,
is you don't know when you're going to break through.
No.
Right? Even when you're hammering through a wall, you're like, okay, I think it's getting thinner. I think I'm still going. I don't know if I've ever hammered through a wall, but
I have.
Okay. So, but at one point it does break and you do get through that threshold, and it's like, and then you can sprinkle stuff in, but you also have to keep saying the same thing with the next wall.
Yes, you have to keep sharing the message. It like doesn't stop. And even after they have the baby, like sometimes it's like, wait, where have you been the whole time we've been talking about chiropractic?
Wait, did you just forget about chiropractic? You can do it. Can also do it for your baby.
And then they bring baby back, and then it's that whole nother conversation of like, no, baby doesn't have to be symptomatic. Yeah, has to need to adjust something. And then they bring the baby 3 months later, and it's like, oh, but we saw her 3 months ago. Like, so it's just so hard to communicate, like, because salutogenesis is so different than, again, like, your body's broken and we're just gonna throw this stuff at it to fix it and hammer at the mole is like it's just like, it's so unique to our world. We're so addicted to quick fixes and slapping on a medication, and again,
Amazon,
big pharma and big food, like all that stuff, like it's all out there to kind of twist the truth. And we are this wildly different message that is like, here actually is freedom, and you can choose that or you can choose not that. And again, it sucks when they choose not that. And you see them on social media going the other route, and then they message you and they're like, hey, my kid's having immune issues and they can't breathe on their own, and I'm not laughing. Like, and then they say,
what do we do at home for this?
Yes, what do I do at home for this? And we're just sitting there like,
come in.
You don't. You come see us 6 years ago, but now come. But also, come now. Like, some people truly, and that's also the good reminder of like the humility to know that like some people just aren't ready and they're not going to receive the truth yet. And or they'll come to you.
Their nervous system ready to receive it, and that's another thing of like, I always take a no as like, okay, that's God's protection. My flight's canceled. God's protection.
Amen.
My flight was canceled. I didn't even think of that. Or like, this person said no. Okay, that might be their protection and my protection right now. It's just not the time.
It's not the time, or it's not that season in their journey yet. Like sometimes truly, like you said, it is like their journey might be way more twisty and turny than like we would want to choose for them. But we don't know what God knows.
Yes, exactly.
And so we also have to like surrender that. And that goes back to like what the freaking green books talk about. I said frickin'.
She said freaking, so it's fine.
The freaking green books talk about, which is just like, ultimately, like sometimes we get egotistical and prideful, and we think that we are fixing them. And when someone has a win, we're like, woo, like it kind of goes to our head sometimes. And we have to continually humble ourselves and remind ourselves that like, truly, if we believe in the philosophy and the art of chiropractic and the science of chiropractic, that like, we're just putting that force in, and ultimately it's the nervous system doing the job. Like, and who made the nervous system? God did. So it's like, you have to step back and like see the bigger picture and like honor that too. So like you said, it's not always the right time. And all we can do is like be the best version of ourselves, meaning also getting adjusted, also being in tune, being in alignment with where we're supposed to be. And so that we can give and deliver that message as truthfully and as full of love and full of conviction as possible. And they just may not accept it. And that sucks. Shed a tear, move on, help the next person who's ready.
I am loving this podcast because or video, whatever this is, wherever you're watching, because it is so truthful. I think a lot of the times as chiropractors, or if you're in school or whatever it may be, you're like, oh my gosh, this is the best gig ever. And it is.
It is.
But you are still going to have these bumps in the road where people are going to say no to you. People are not going to be ready. People are going to quit in their care plan. All of these different things. And you have to remember the big picture. Put them first in your head of, okay, obviously we care so much. And we're like, no, that's why we want them to come back. It's not because we have to pay them their care plan back or whatever. No, it's because we care. Oh my, it's free. Free will, free. No, but it's just, I hope that you're hearing this because it is so incredibly true. So I want you to talk to me about the male side.
Ooh.
I think this is cool.
Yeah.
Or just even if it's not like as detailed as you can remember like on the slide.
Yes.
But just how cool is it that you have created this side?
I'm known for making up some statistics. So sometimes when I'm teaching to schools, I'm like, I think it's like 85.
I think it's like 99.9%.
I'll be like, it's 90 something.
And then I'm always like, but don't quote me. Look it up and Google it.
Don't film this part. But in the general realm of things, there's a range, so it'll fall in the range. But I mean, just the simple fact of like, even as we've been kind of launching out the Birth and Beyond stuff through PX and getting that out to our community, it's just so evident the people who are in the audience are all women.
Yes.
And like, that kills me for these women.
It's like, why didn't your husband want to come with you? I know we had 4 dads at the last one. That was our most ever. And I was like, this is so cool. Yeah. But mostly moms.
Well, and at first, I kind of was like, I felt a little angry. I was like, where are the guys?
Yeah.
Like, we know this information. They don't. They don't know it.
And it's the same as OBs. Yeah. It's like, we can't even blame them. They're like, oh, that's a girl thing.
Totally. Like, this is we can't have the kid. It's our And like, everywhere else is not telling them. They may be checking their sperm count.
Yeah. Which is already at a low normal.
Right. They're not checking all these other parts and making sure that everything's in a good place. So we, like, that was the first thing. And even just talking to you now, I'm like, looking back at like my response to that is I felt angry at first. And then I realized, like, but our marketing is still very female focused because our marketing, even within pediatrics, is still very mom focused.
Yes.
And so it's like, how do we get the word out in an attractive way to males and teach them not only that, like, the sperm health matters,
right,
but their nervous system freaking matters. There is, like, as I was preparing for this last one, there's studies out there, like freaking CNN. I said freaking again. I'm mad. I'm mad. As I smile. CNN had like a thing. I don't love CNN, to be honest, but like some of the headlines were kind of cool. And it was talking about like the man's like emotional state during pregnancy. Something that we don't even think about, but like we're seeing the effects of that, especially like as we take care of kids, is we want to know, like mom, dad, all those things, we're still going to work with that child's nervous system, but we know how that greatly affects the child, co-regulation. And so co-regulation for the dad and the mom, like whether she's pregnant or not yet, that indefinitely matters and will matter long into, forever. It matters forever. And we know, we were talking about this too, so I'm going to diverge a little bit from the male thing for a second, but like we know that it used to be kind of relatively easy within chiropractic and within like the fertility realm to like help a woman get back on track and get pregnant, help a couple get back on track and get pregnant. It's not so much anymore. It's not. And it's not.
Same with kids. Like, I think a lot of people relate to this is like when you used to adjust a baby. Healed. You could look at them and it's like, oh, they're done.
You'd like now over like touch them and they would go from like crying to like, oh.
Exactly. Like I used to see videos of that, like crying and then it's like calm. And yes, that happens, but not like it used to. No. So same thing with what you're saying.
Yeah, like it's gotten more deep. And when we were talking about this, like if we're in the context of nervous system subluxation, you said it's severely generational now, and it's because we are so far from what was natural that like we're really having to turn the tides pretty hard right now to help these couples. I mean, hopefully even long before couples, long before they're like even in like childbearing age, that like we're talking about these things, teaching women about their cycles, teaching guys about women's cycles and their own hormones and their cycles, right?
Their own 24-hour little
just 24 hours. It's so cute.
You're the same every day. It's fine.
Like you say it so angrily, like if we have anger, we have a problem. Because
what part of your story?
I'm about to say my cycle.
All right, we're back.
So,
anyways,
this is a great time to record a podcast.
Stick it to the man.
Okay, but here's the thing: is like I've also found in this season, with like seeing more challenges in fertility, also like a greater appreciation for how God created the man to be.
Yes,
provider, protector, all those things. But we've just lost like touch with how he can provide and protect for the woman. And so like we've gotten really good at talking about the woman's health.
Yeah.
And they love it. They love chiropractic.
Yeah.
I mean, our practices,
They're in.
of them. They're in. Yeah. You look at women, you're like, I'd love to help you. And like, they're like, yes, please.
They're like, yes.
Please, please put your hands on my shoulders. Like, and guys are usually like, how much is it?
Yeah.
And is it going to work?
And how often do I have to come?
And how, right. And so they're just less motivated by like feely, touchy, feel good stuff and more motivated by like just information and facts and all that stuff. And so I do think like I don't want to say we've failed them, but I think we're noticing a need to like really shift how we communicate it to not be like anti-guy, if you will, but to be like, look, like we want you here. We want you to feel empowered. I want you to know what we're working on with your child if they're bringing their child in. I want you to know all these things. So like we want you to be involved.
Yeah.
Instead of like leaving them out and just expecting them to like pay us. Rather, like, let's get them in, get them involved, and we know how important, like, full family care is.
Yeah.
And what if, you know, dad is under care too, or, like, the man going into that. So, like, we know there's studies showing, like, the health of the sperm, right? The health of the DNA, like, affects the placenta.
Placenta, yeah.
Right?
Correlation with morning sickness, all the things.
Yeah. And what else? I mean, literally, like...
Everything. They're a big deal.
I mean, you said it's like 60%.
Your kid comes out, looks like the dad, you're just like, oh, okay, I think you had a lot to do with it.
More than tell us more about that. Your kid is really cute, though. If you haven't met Goldie, she's very, very cute. But there's so much more to it. So again, even just like, yes, like sperm counts, motility. Like, there's so many more pieces. We even talk about hormones.
How they're shaped, there's so many different things, how they're created. A guy's cycle, we say, is 24 hours, but the life of the sperm can be 3 to 4 months. And then the life cycle of sperm is like 72 days. So it's just, there's a lot of different things that we're not really getting into. And I love how you said we do need to invite the dad in. But I also love how you said is like, he's the provider, he's the protector. So also honoring that instead of trying to change him into something else of like, because I think we do that a lot too. As chiropractors, as a society, whatever
as women,
we love to try to change that. And we try to make them think the way we think instead of honoring how they think and going towards that. So I think that helps with marketing too, is what you're saying is like, we're always marketing to the mom. It's easy to market to her. Number one, how are we going to get to her and through her to the husband, right? Because they're always hanging out there together, hopefully. If they're not on opposite shifts.
We got to work on that.
Yeah, we got to work on that. But how is she going to be in his ear? But then also, how are we marketing to his side of things? Making him feel like a bigger part, like what you're saying. Empowering him. Making him own it too. Because there's so many moms who are like, yes, we're struggling with, or so many women who are like, we're struggling with fertility, but my husband doesn't really want to do anything about it. I'm like,
and that like creates like a sense, honestly, like frustration as a provider. Like that makes me really like want to side with the mom. And it's like, we shouldn't even have that. So like we do need to solve this and find ways to not only attract the man, but also like share in his like wisdom and his help them to be vulnerable and help them to be open, help them to like receive this information with like delight rather than like, don't come at me, you weird hippie lady who like who like doesn't ever
my
brush
wife
her hair.
drag me to this birth and beyond.
Like okay, and I
changed
love
the title.
Yes, no, I mean I really thought, I was like, okay, I thought putting male version on the bottom would like attract more males. It didn't.
I know. We do need to brainstorm different ways to really start. And that's what's cool about this is that in chiropractic, in PX, as PX doc, we are always growing. We're always trying to do things. At the beginning of this call, you said something amazing about not even preconception, but like, well, preconception's forever. So getting these teens, all the things, same thing. How are we going to change culture to now start to talk to these dads and the males and all?
Well, I think then it's looking back to, I always tell this story, but I had recently a mom and dad bringing their 5-year-old girl, and it was a classic perfect storm. They had tried everything. And at the end of the report of findings, the dad looked at me and he's like, so what are you doing to change the trajectory of this? Like, how are you going to reach my wife and I? Because this made so much sense. And like, I want to get under care too. to us. So like, how are you going to reach us 5 years ago, 6, 7, 8 years ago? And I said, well, I'm glad you asked. We're doing a lot, and now we're doing even more to do that. And I really do think it is like it does. Like it's a grand problem right now, but we also do have to remember, and this is like Dr. Tony in my ear too, is like you have to remember that we are doing the work now too for future generations.
Yeah.
Because what are we doing? Even if a mom comes in at 38 weeks, she's ideally bringing her baby in, and maybe that baby is a baby boy. Then we're raising that little boy with her to help him understand his health and to help him, like have a healthy nervous system from the beginning. And so we see these amazing families grow up through our care, and that's the future generation too. So
for sure, we cannot forget that.
Yeah.
When you see kids, you're also impacting their kids and their kids and their kids. Yeah. And we all see kids, right? That's why we're listening to this, because we want to see more kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
So it's focusing on like, yes, we want to make these changes with this group of couples now. And it's a big job. And we can help a lot of them. So we need to get better at doing that. But yeah, I do think like being able to see big picture of like, we will not know our impact. We won't.
No, we won't.
So it's just like, I'm just going to keep working my butt off to create that impact and to help people understand that. And it's just like, I don't know about you, but I get chills every time I get to look at a little kid and be like, your body's so strong and amazing and you're beautiful and you're just rocking it. Like even with my nephew right now, like being able to be that voice for him of like, you can heal and you are so strong and your body is created to fight this. And no one else is saying that to him.
No one else in our entire society is saying that to any child. And that's also where the devil creeps in of what you were saying too, is like he will use children, start morphing their mind now to believe all of these lies. And it's like, we are the one provider that's still saying that. So keep saying that, keep pouring in during your table talk and stuff of like, oh my goodness, like look at your nervous system today. Like that is so awesome. It is doing this, instead of like, yes, the adjustment does this, but watch your body receive this adjustment and healing is going to happen in between adjustments. And that's like, what's so cool.
We are not the magician.
Exactly.
Like, I remind myself that every day, like, yes, we have some cool skills, but like those are all gifts that we've been given. So like we need to be reminding those parents, even as they're bringing in their children, that like these symptoms are not just things to like, like, get them gone and then my kid's perfect. It's like your kid is showing us these beautiful signs that they're alive.
Yes.
Subluxation like means that we're alive.
Exactly.
Right? Like it does not.
Sometimes subluxation is a good, I love to look at subluxation sometimes as a good thing because it's like, oh my gosh, my body is like, it's compensating for this or it's trying to adapt. But now it's getting stuck. So I need some extra help. And then I'm going to get unstuck and I'm going to heal. Same with, I just had a grandpa was babysitting his granddaughter. The granddaughter's a patient, brings her in and he's like, I gave her Tylenol and all the things because she has this fever. And I'm like, all right, next time let's let that fever ride. I had to give the fever talk to him. And he was like, oh my goodness, no one's ever told me that a fever can be good. And it's like, her body's so smart. It's creating a higher temperature to kill off whatever it needs to be. And he was just like,
and when we stop that, like we know these things.
Now our body can't do it.
Did you hear the thing, side note, back to like what epidurals do? And they cause literally more pain for the baby?
Yes, because the baby can now feel, it's crazy.
So wild.
Also, Pitocin does the same thing.
How many women know that?
No one.
And so they were wondering why, like those babies, I start to see patterns with like the epidural babies of like, oh, that baby is like really, really stressed. And like, again, some have more resilience than others, but it just is like now knowing that fact physiologically, like those neurochemicals and the chemicals of pain, like it is a lot. And that amplifies it. And again, if no one says it, that's where it's hard. Like it's that fine line between like telling the truth or being fearful of telling the truth because somebody might not like you versus like me telling the truth and they may not like what I have to say, but it's the truth and they can receive it or they can deny it and move on and find another chiropractor or I don't know where they're going to go. But like ideally we say it. And I think that's like that's like growing up. That's like a grown up chiropractor thing to do is like eventually you get your head.
We got to grow up, guys. Yeah,
we do. And we have to like not just like, again, rage at like they didn't want to do it or like, get upset at your patients. It's like, what can I do to deliver this better? Not only my technique, my art, my analysis, all those different things, but how can I deliver like this message with more love and more just like peace and hope.
Yes.
And maybe I need to buy a grill and give it off as a raffle, and then maybe 20 guys would show up. But like that is what I'm willing to do.
To get them in there and to hear the truth.
Yeah, and maybe 2 of them sign up. And 2 healthy families end up having 5 kids. And those 5 kids go on to change the world. Like,
this is awesome.
Yeah, like, that's what we do. That's what we do. And you have to remember, like, yes, there's a lot of ones that end in, like, you know, some struggle and maybe not like your ideal client.
Yeah.
But like, there's
we'll keep them. Keep them around.
We do. And we still have hope for them. And we still are like, you know, there for them and to guide them in that process. But sometimes they just will not get it.
Yeah.
And we say subluxation over and over and over again. Sometimes we even stop saying subluxation and we just talk about the autonomic nervous system.
Stress stuck on. Do you get it?
And
gas pedal.
Gas pedal. And it just doesn't click.
Yeah.
And sometimes that is just like the level that they're at. It doesn't mean that we're better than them. It doesn't mean that they're any less of a person than another person. It does go back to like their own journey. And we have to let people be on their journeys.
Yeah.
But it also doesn't mean that we should. It is really hard. And it doesn't mean that we shouldn't speak up though. It doesn't mean that. So it's like having the courage to speak up, be bold, be fearless, and like really just like understand the work that we do. Read these green books that you see behind us and like know that, I mean, we like this area of things is such a hard area to work in, but it's so like it's
our lane.
It's our lane.
We gotta own it.
And we gotta be there because otherwise, where are they going? We don't know.
We don't know. And we don't want to know because we want them to come back to us.
Yeah.
I was talking to Dr. Tony about this. I was like, ever since I became a mom, sometimes I'm scared to tell the truth to other moms. Like, out of fear that they will feel so much guilt. But every time I'm bold enough, step out and just say, okay, I'm just going to tell the truth. I'm going to share it in love, whatever it may be. They're always so grateful because no other provider's telling them this.
No.
So if you're out there listening to this and you're like, but I'm scared to tell them the truth. I don't know if I can truly tell them this is what the epidural did. That's not what you're saying. But
and honestly, like every time I think about that too, it's like as I'm learning to be a better human and to be a better like daughter, friend, coworker, colleague, boss, like leader, whatever else, what other word that you're gonna add?
All your hats.
All the hats. It's like to form a relationship, you gotta be a good listener. And you have to be vulnerable with them and you have to be open with them. You have to create a place of trust.
Yeah.
And it's not a lie. Like other places it is.
Yeah.
But for us it's not a lie. It's literally like I want them to feel safe here. And how can we do that? And when you have that safety created, and that should be created long before day one, right? That should be
what's your brand saying? What's your marketing saying?
Yeah. Your testimonials.
Your testimonials.
The website, all that stuff. When you create that like warmth and that trust and you're being like totally who you're supposed to be and honest and open, like they're going to come in, be more vulnerable with you, be more open with you. And then you can go way deeper with that person versus just like them kind of beating around the bush and you trying to like pry, but then you're like, no, I'm scared to like tell the truth. And it's like, but if you have that openness already and that sense of like trust and vulnerability already, then you can get right into it at day 2. And then even from those like first couple adjustments is they're already there with you and they're ready to rock. So it's like it's a process of like creating a relationship too, which I think like our culture kind of sucks at, to be honest.
There's another thing we are not good at.
Let's talk about relationships now.
Let's dive into relationships.
Do you have an intro for that part?
Hey guys, welcome back to the Relationship Family Practice podcast. No,
Dr. Tony and Dr. Christina.
Dr. Christina and Mr. Tony. That's so funny.
They're gonna be on an episode, like Matt and Crystal on an episode.
Yeah, I'm gonna interview all the couples.
What were we talking
It'll be
about?
group therapy.
Yeah.
No, I think that
it's relationship building.
Yes.
With patients. So it's like when you, again, like let's say you get into a new relationship. Like if I go into a first date and I'm literally just like yapping away and like telling all of these things and just talking versus like receiving, listening, like exuding like warmth and like openness, I'm not going to like spill all of the beans on the first date, right?
And that's the same with chiropractic.
It's the same with chiropractic is you kind of got to just like drip drip, educate versus throwing it at them all at once is like you kind of have to like lead into it. And it's the same thing with patients too. Is like we don't have to be fearful. Like Jonah actually had this yesterday going into a phone consult, and we were kind of laughing about it. Is like when we're really like overthinking how we're going to deliver a message, that's when we get in trouble. Versus just like being fully present and being like, I have good intentions. This message has good intentions, and I can try to like formulate the perfect way to deliver it, or I can just be like fully in a state of love. Just like when we go into an adjustment, we talk about this a lot in my practice, is like you need to get out of your own way and get out of like me and fully focused on that patient.
Yeah.
And we learned that at Life University too, I think in a lot of like clubs and technique stuff. But it is the same thing with a conversation. Like when you're delivering a message, I always think back to the Bible too, of like a lot of those people who like had these incredible messages to deliver had no freaking idea how to do it.
Yeah.
And it was just the surrender.
Holy
and,
Spirit
like,
just speak through me.
Do it. And like
time.
that simple like prayer and like openness for that to happen will create innumerable miracles. It truly will. Like even, I mean, years ago, I would have like totally stressed about a podcast like this because I'd be like, I don't know what to say. But now as I do,
we did not even plan this.
We didn't. We kind of like planned it late last night. But like, we didn't need to tell them that. Cut that part out.
And cut.
Action, we're back. But like when you like lean in and really trust and like really just, I think like develop like a strong, I don't know, just conviction.
Yeah.
It really does just come out of you. It does. And you don't have to force it, and you don't have to try to be something you're not. It just is like, it's there and it's delivered with love. So I think it's less like, as I've thought more about that, like, ooh, I didn't like the way that I said that maybe years ago and like report of findings, and now shifted away from that more to now like watching tone and just like going in with like, I have this incredible message to deliver. Chiropractic is amazing and it can help this family in so many different ways, versus like the fear of being like, well, what will they think if I talk about, you know,
will they not like me? Will they think of this? And then it's like, that's such a selfish part about being, it's about you. So you got to just open your hands, let go, surrender, and just be like, okay, use me. Yeah. You know, send me, I'm ready. And it's just like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah. I mean, I had a point like that in my career. Have you had one where you like just straight up were like, okay, use me. Like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing, but straight up like, help me analyze this person's nervous system because I am losing it. Right?
I've had multiple of those.
Yes. I had to go get Dr. Jake. I was like, help me.
I've done that 3 times.
Tony was in a consult. So I love Dr. Jake. If you're watching this, we think you're rad.
We love you.
Yeah.
Okay. This was great.
Yeah.
I absolutely love this. I don't even know what time it is.
It's been an hour.
That is so funny. I was like, oh, it'll be like 30 minutes. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. This was fun.
Yeah.
We should just do
What
this
are our
once a week.
action steps?
Go kill it.
Yeah. Go kill it.
Don't kill.
Yeah, look at marketing. Like, reach out to the guys. Like,
reach out to the guys.
I think that's what we're going to do after this. Is
Yeah,
seriously, that.
Turn it around.
Is turn it around and start marketing a little bit differently to, like, advocate for men, not tell them.
Exactly.
Advocate for them.
Advocate for them, empower them, give them space to be vulnerable, to be themselves. Also, tell the truth. I think they got that from this step. In love. Tell the truth in love.
Yeah.
Be bold. Don't be afraid.
Be bold.
Step out. Chiropractors, we should be owning the space of fertility.
Yes.
And be honest with yourself that it's hard.
It is.
But we should be the foundation of all of this.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you one more question. What are like the common scan findings, or like, I think that's like, what are you guys seeing in like fertility scans, or like people?
Definitely shut down complete EMG on adrenals, on L3 region. Some of them are even from T8 to sacrum. Like, it's crazy what we're seeing. Definitely blown out in the neck area, and that's also with a lot of anxiety that these moms have. They're under a lot of stress, so a completely different pattern than they should be. We're also seeing tanked HRVs. We've seen if you look at the table on HRV, below normal range on both parasympathetic and sympathetic, complete shutdown, complete out of gas. So just rebuilding them up. Yeah. Is that kind of the same, similar that you're seeing?
Oh, totally. Yeah. And then thermal, I mean, usually something upper cervical. Yeah. That's pretty strong. So I'm thinking vagus nerve right away. And whether
we see a lot of transition zones.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Upper cervical, we'll see like CT, TL a lot of the times. Yeah. And when you're seeing the whole perinatal phase of patients, make sure to not neglect their transition zones. Because a lot of the times in chiropractic, we're just focusing on sacrum, or just focusing on C1 or whatever it may be. But you gotta look in those regions.
Yeah. There's so many. That is such a good point, and something I know I struggled with when I first came here, because it was like the only thing I heard in perinatal chiropractic was sacrum.
Another sacrum.
Sacrium.
Sacrum.
Push my sacrum right here. Put your
sciatica.
Sorry, talk into the microphone. And it was kind of like, wait, so what do I adjust on this pregnant woman? It's like their nervous system.
Yeah, their nervous system.
Adjust the patterns and get that change in the nervous system. And again, like, that's why scans are so amazing. And I know people listening to this will hopefully are already using them. And if you're not, like,
do it tomorrow.
Life is good when you have some insight scans and you know how to read them, because that is like the game changer for so many practices. Is there's so much hate towards like insight scans and scanning in general because people don't know how to use them.
Right.
And so then they're like...
Or they think that they're not getting better, but it's like, okay, you're not looking at the correct things.
So they don't
know that. And that's not their fault, right? It's just like, we need to get them plugged into the right... Like, get plugged into PX. Get plugged into Dr. Matt, Dr. Tony, Dr. Fletcher's trainings. Because they're amazing at scan interpretation. That's where we've both learned. Yeah. We were both PWC raised, so we know the drill, but...
We're teenagers now.
We're teenagers. We're babies. But it is really good to have insight scans.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, track those changes. And I mean, just like any other case, I mean, it really, yes, it's a whole different camp, but it really still is the same approach as everyone else. It's individualized care for that person. And that one might be a 36 visit and one might be like 3 years long.
Right.
And you just have to be real with that patient on how much work we got to do, how much subluxation is in there, how deep it's wound up in there. And I think, like you just said, it's like the scans show a lot of freaking layers.
Yeah, seriously. It's okay. Is freaking a bad word?
Totally.
Totally.
A lot of layers.
Just the totally patterns.
And when you have so many layers in there, you just have to slow down to speed up. And we have to do that for subluxation anyway, but especially with these cases, and I'd say women in general, like, we still see guys will often heal a lot faster. Yeah. And I think it's because there's a lot less layers of like emotional stress on top of it. But with women, there's just so many layers and it's just wound up so deeply in their nervous system. And so we just have to be patient with them, and we have to understand that they're coming from a dramatically different upbringing. And the messages that they've heard are so strong. And so we have to come with stronger messages than that. So be louder, be bolder, and be convicted, and learn more. Like, get better. Get better at what you do. Like, we're not ever, like, done.
We're never done.
We're not done.
As
ABL.
There's breath in our lungs.
ABL, baby. Always be learning. You're like,
always be learning, guys. You can do it. You got it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Crush it.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
See you next time.
Hey, Dr. Tony here, and I wanted to say thank you for listening to the Family Practice Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, like and subscribe to the show so you don't miss a thing. Also, if you're looking for more content from us, you can absolutely subscribe to our newsletter, watch exclusive episodes on YouTube, and dive deep into the articles and blogs on our website. All of this is linked in today's show notes. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next episode.